Okay, cool.
Okay, so hello guys, welcome back to the Zambia of the Creative podcast. So yeah, we've been away for quite some time now, but we're back again with another episode with me, Kalonde and Hamlet. So we're going to do it in a very different way today. Kalonde is going to take up the whole thing, and then he's going to be sort of leading the session. Yeah, it's really going to be a brief discussion, but something very, very interesting. You guys, hope you like, share, and subscribe to our YouTube channel, and hope that you do follow everything that we are currently doing on our website and Facebook pages. Yeah, so Kalonde, you can take up the session.
All right. So welcome everybody to this episode, and let's just get straight into it. So the first question is going to be directed to Hamlet. So I wanted you to know, what stage do you think Africa is in terms of science? Like where do we stand as at now in in relation to other continents? Where do you think we stand?
Okay, Africa as a whole, I think we're still in the first stage. Let's say maybe if there are 3 stages, I think we're still on the first stage. Yeah, we haven't really done much in Africa, because you're talking about Africa here. So in Africa, I don't think we have done much. Yeah, so I think we're still on the base.
Okay, then what do you think, Caleb? Where do you think the present stage of science? Where are we, Africa?
Okay, yeah. I would love to agree with what Hamlet has said. I think I also believe we are, we're a bit far away from where we should be, and where we are supposed to be, or let me say where we aim to be. Like I would say, if it's in levels, I would put it at probably level 1, and maybe on the verge of going to level 2. But we are a bit far. We're like very, very far. We're lagging behind the shot. Yeah.
For me, I feel like Africa is not really doing enough, and when you're looking at how science is, and when you're looking at how technology is, you cannot be respected just because you want to be respected. You have to earn that respect from people. So as a result, I can say that Africa as a whole, we do not even have probably like many universities, let's say 10 universities that are in the top 100 schools. So already, if that is the case, that means that we're not doing well. So the next question is going to be like, from a rating of 0 to 10, I would like you to rate where we stand, and I would like you to give you the reasons why we are the way we are. Because one thing is saying we are here, but I would like to know why we are there. So would you mind like responding to that?
Okay,
Hamlet can go first. Yeah.
All right. Yeah. So for me, I think, just like I say, so since you've given me like out of 10 to rate out of 10, I think I can rate I can give it a 3. Yeah, I can give Africa a 3. So reason being, I don't know if you've noticed, but we don't like investing in science in our own countries. You get the point? We don't want to develop science in our own countries. You understand? We find that people who have ideas, they usually want to go to other countries.
Yeah.
You have an idea, you go to Europe to go and develop that idea. You get the point? Yeah. And I can't blame them. I can't blame such people. It's because of the mentality that people have towards scientific innovations in Africa. So one thing we should do is just to try to change the mindset of people, the mindset of people that people have towards science in Africa. Yeah, I don't know if you get me. Yeah, so
okay. That's and what's your rating? What's your rating from 0 to 10? What's the rating?
A 3. I give. Yeah, 3. Like we're not very far. We haven't gone very far.
I must say Hamlet is Hamlet is moving well. Okay, but to be honest, I think I would give it 4.5. Yeah. Okay. 4.5 for me. As much as we're not really where we should be or where we're trying to go. I think the people that are still trying to take us somewhere, and for that, I would have said 4, but I'll say 4.5, and okay, maybe 0.5 for the effort. Yeah, because I feel that people that are trying to put to push for the agenda for us to like develop and progress. But in general, again, I agree with what Hamlet has said. You know, like the rating that Hamlet has brought forth. You know, it's, you can't really argue with him because he definitely has points to say. You know, like we've not really taken this thing seriously, because today, look at what people like Mark Zuckerberg are doing. You know, we're talking about Meta now. They've moved away from, you know, like they're talking about virtual realities. You know, that's something surreal. Like that's something mad. If you look at it, you're like, wow, is this at the level at which we are advancing? Okay,
Let
yeah.
me cut you short. Let me just cut you short. Let me just cut you short there. Yeah. So on the Meta thing, see, if you look at the reception that it has from Africa and also in America, look at it. People in Africa are like, why are you changing Facebook? Why should you change? Facebook is just the way it is. They don't want to change. You see, they don't want to change. You get the point? But in America, they're like, oh, that's a good thing, actually. This one is going to bring people more closer to each other. You get the point?
More
close to each other. Yeah. Yeah, you can continue now.
Okay, yeah. So you know, like there's so much advancements outside Africa, you know, with relation to science. So I think 4.5 for me is okay, because I feel we've not really done so much. You know, like you know, I'll give an example of how e-commerce has become the new way of doing business, you know, in terms of buying and selling. Because you know, with the COVID era and almost where we're going, you know, people are going to be doing business online. Let me say people are already doing business online. So most of these physical places that we get to see, you know, those sort of become irrelevant in the next 10, 20 years. People preferably just going to purchase things online, and then people will just be delivering on their doorsteps, which is actually already happening. But in the coming years, that's going to be, you know, like the most ideal way of shopping. And I feel Africans can take advantage of that. I know maybe we do have e-commerce shopping sites in Africa, but a lot of people can, you know, like take advantage of that, develop a good, you know, e-commerce platforms. I feel that's part of STEM as well. That's programming, that's technology. So we can take advantage of that and do bits. But I don't think we've really done a whole lot, you know, because currently in Zambia, we do have e-commerce sites which are being developed by Zambians. But I think the only problem is efficiency and the security system. So I think we can work around all those things still and come up with, you know, feasible systems that will actually, you know, confidence, you know, like people will be confident and say, okay, we can really trust these guys and do a whole lot. So I think when we talk of STEM and science, we're actually talking about something that's broad. STEM is broad. It's actually the driving force of the world today. It's a driving factor, you know. It's more like a fuel that's driving the whole world today. You look at Elon Musk.
So
Elon Musk. Okay, my rating in short is I think I've moved away from the question. My rating is basically a 4.5, solid 4.5 for them, for trying actually, because they're trying. But if anything,
instead of having Silicon Valley, we have Chamba Valley zone.
Oh, Chamba Valley. This guy.
Let's be serious. We need to be serious.
Chamba Valley. Oh, okay.
Look, in Africa, we're supposed to have like a center, you know, like this place where let's say for instance in Zambia, you're supposed to have a place like a specific place where they say, okay, this place is for technology. This place is for startups. You see the way Silicon Valley is. You know that in California, this place is for this. When you go there, you mean business. When you go there, you mean you want to change the world. You get the point. But in Zambia, we don't have a place like that. The only places we have is Chivoria. You know Chivoria, they steal a lot. That's what the reputation. That's the only.
This Hamlet guy voting, please. Relax.
So
let's get back a little bit. Let's get back a little bit. Since we were talking about Africa, and I don't know why you said it's smoking Chivolia for no reason. So well, for me, I feel like I can give Africa a 2. You know, I can give them a 2 because I feel like we are in a bad spot. Why am I saying this? First, when you're looking at how countries are going to be able to grow, you have to be looking at the industries, like how much are they able to produce,
Yeah.
and
Yeah,
from
true.
the production itself, where do we stand, right? Maybe let's say North Africa, in South Africa, Eastern Africa, Western Africa, Central Africa, right? How many companies would you say are really doing well to export? There are very, very few. And when you come back to our country per se, let's say Zambia, okay? What type of quality of copper are we selling, right? Is it of something that is of high quality? Are we adding value to it? So I feel like in some sense, we need to have people who are, really motivated to be in the science and are able to do much better for our continent and our country. So I don't feel like we even have to be, okay to say they are doing well. I'm really against you, Caleb, for giving them a 4.5 because that's half,
Yeah,
right? But
Oh
you're
yeah.
saying you're giving them a 4.5 for trying. But well, look at the number of people that are in Africa, right?
I was actually laughing when you gave it to, because I was like, wow,
We
I was
have about
actually
2
generous,
billion. I don't know if it's 2 billion, 3 billion, and then you only have no, you are really generous, right? Because
Yeah.
if you look at the number of people, we're like 2 to 3 billion, right? And then
Yeah.
you only
Yeah.
have like a solid 1 million out of that. And then what's the percentage of that really? That is really terrible.
Yeah.
So the next question that is going to go into this is this is going to be a little bit controversial, but we still need to talk about it. Do you think that the science subjects in schools have to be taken up by students that really did well in their high school? Because nowadays, in most scenarios, right, we would find maybe somebody didn't do so well in science, and then they go to teaching, and because they've gone to teaching, they can be given science and whatnot. So do you feel it has played a part in Zambia or Africa having good quality of teachers in that specific field? Do you think it has played a part? What do you think, Caleb?
Okay. Yeah. You've actually asked a very good question. You're talking about maybe, let's say we pick from the best students, and maybe integrate them
Yeah,
into science courses, right?
education. Yeah,
Yeah. Okay. My understanding is I feel we have two sets of students, or let me say pupils in school. The pupils that are actually brilliant, they can balance both science, social science, law, and any career, or field. The people that are just like blessed, their brains are, you can't understand them, but they'll prefer to say, okay,
like Hamlet.
yeah, like Hamlet, like Hamlet. Let me say, yeah, like this. Let me say, people are good. They'll say, okay, yeah, this guy is brilliant, like brilliant. But maybe he says, I'm not really interested in this science thing. But maybe the guy does well. He gets 100% in chemistry, physics, and then he just decides and says, okay, I just want to go do law. So there are such scenarios in schools. But again, you do have a very good, it's not a point, let me say that's a very good question, because I believe, again, maybe we should accommodate people that have got a solid foundation in terms of performance and integrate them in the science fields. But again, it has to do with interest. Let's say if because the people that are not blessed in terms of they're not really up there when it comes to intelligence, but they really want to try and push so hard to be engineers. So I feel to some extent it would be unbiased a bit, because we would actually be crushing dreams of people before giving them an opportunity. Because I have seen scenarios where people are actually good when it comes to practical work. They can develop and innovate serious things. But when it comes to implementation that has to do with calculations and proper explanation, they're actually bad at that. So I feel we should have a system that accommodates both, because do you know what happens in the industry today? There's a stat that I read. I know it's not a stat, it's actually an article that I read, like that's 3 years ago when I read it, and I was actually young, but I got staggered. I was like, wow. What I found interesting was that Samsung pays over 50,000 people just to think, not to calculate and say, no, I'm calculating or I'm doing this. No, just to think and say, how is the next brand going to look like? The next Samsung brand going to look like? Now, they'll just think and say, well, it's just going to look like this, sort of like a prototype. But that prototype that they're going to bring about is a picture type of prototype. you know, it's more like a module, you know, a pictorial presentation, you know, like yeah, pictorial. I don't know if it's something like that. A presentation of the actual thing, sort of like okay, yeah. Wait, before you cut me short. Yeah, before you cut me short. So the thing is that what I'm trying to bring on board is to say, you know, we've got different people. Others are good at implementing, others are good at thinking. So I think for us to actually thrive, we need both. So, but to answer your question in short term, I would say it would be unfair to just give it to those that are good in terms of performance and to leave out those that desire to go in those fields. Let's create an environment or system that you know, allows both people to be fitted in.
Both.
Yeah.
So Caleb, Hamlet, I'm going to ask this question to say, do you think just because you've gone to school of education, you should be able to take up, you know, teaching physics, chemistry, even though your grades were not so good in high school, like you got probably like a 6, and then you can possibly go to teach chemistry, physics, you know, biology to the younger ones, and mathematics. Do you think it's okay?
Okay. On that one, I think, okay, it all depends on, just like Caleb was saying, it all depends on interest you get. You understand?
Yeah.
Okay, I've seen people whose ambitions have changed due to bad performance. You get the point?
Yeah.
Someone wants to be an engineer, but due to bad results, the person finds him or herself in education, and then they are teaching. They go for teaching. You understand?
Yeah.
So on that one, I think what they should be doing is this: we should be focusing more on what people are interested in. You understand?
Okay.
We're supposed to focus more on what people are interested in. When you focus on that, then you are going to see that a lot of people are going to thrive in their respective fields. We shouldn't divide people based on results. Those things we shouldn't. You get the point? Because because in Zambia, what I've noticed is if you got 6 points, automatically you're a doctor. you are doing medicine.
True.
Automatically you're doing medicine at goes on. Because that was my case when I just finished high school. People are saying like, no, do medicine. But I have never dreamt of doing medicine in my entire life. It has never crossed my mind to say, okay, I want to do medicine. But I've met people just because they have results are saying, okay, my parents are saying, do this, do medicine. You understand? Yes, medicine is science, but it's not technology. You understand? There are people who are interested in technology, but because of society and their results, they're just forced to do something that they don't want to do. So I think this thing of arranging people based on results, I don't think it's a good thing. We're supposed to put people based on capability practically. You get the point? What they're able to do practically. We had people, I've met people in my life where someone is not good in a certain subject, but the way the person thinks, you'll be able to say, but how? You understand? True. And then when the exam comes, the person doesn't do well. But the person, you know that the person has got potential.
Yeah.
You understand? That's the way it is.
Yeah.
Most of the people who are doing well, they are usually misled with the results that they get. To say no, they can do anything, they can do it, even though they know that their heart is maybe for something else. You understand?
Yeah.
So that's one thing we should work on in Africa. Like we're supposed to capitalize on people's interests, what they like. Simple and straightforward. Just focus on that.
What a podcast, guys.
I feel like, let me also try to give my thought on this. I feel like, let's say if you have a cup, right, that has got a volume of, let's say, maybe it has a volume of 2 liters, right? If you are to pour it into another cup, it won't exceed 3 liters at all. It's always going to be exactly or less, right?
Yeah,
so
that's
I feel like, you know, so in the case that you are having children and you are teaching them, let's say, physics or chemistry, you're going to be showing them a world of science based on how you related to it, you know? And in a scenario where somebody explains to you science in a way that is not really exciting, there are many people who are not going to be, you know? So I feel it has to be both. It has to be understanding somebody's passion, something that they're really passionate about, their purpose, right, in relation to education. I feel like education hasn't really been given much opportunity because it has to be given so much importance. Because when you look at, let's say, America, I don't know if you've read much, but you know, the people like Rockefeller, we've got people like Carnegie, we've got like people like JP Morgan. So when these guys
Yeah,
had millions and millions of money, what happened after they died is that they reinvested a lot of that money into education. But now,
yeah,
what do we have in Africa? How many people who are we saying that they're really millionaires and they're really investing into education? Okay,
yeah,
how many schools, how many government schools have got computers and they're learning programming? In the next 10 years, the world is going to be full of programmers. But in Africa,
yeah,
do we have that? No. So that means we'd have to be importing skills from time and again. So I feel like we need the best of students in teaching. Also, they have to be passionate about teaching because these are the futures of tomorrow. We are going to be molding their minds, you know. So it might sound a little bit harsh, but I feel like we need more, we need better. We can't settle just because we have to understand that what something is or what something seems to be are two different things. So you can want to be something, but you just have the passion for it, but you can't do it. So just because you
yeah,
want to do it does not mean you have to do it. You know, you have to work towards it, you have to learn it. So me
yeah,
wanting to be a teacher just because I want to, and you put me in that position, that's the reason we've got very poor leaders. They're just there because they want to, but they don't have the capability. So you
yeah,
having the passion to be a leader, but you
Yeah.
don't have the qualifications to be one, you're going to cause a lot of problems. So that's why I feel like science has not really gone to another level in Africa. We don't have, this is going to be sound so bad, but we don't have
yeah.
good enough foundation for this love of science. So next question. We recently saw the budget, right? The budget one that we had. So let's say
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
are the minister of, let's say, technology, right? So what are you going to invest in? I will start with Caleb. 2 minutes, 2 to 4 minutes. I want you to explain what you would invest if you have that money, or you're an MP and you're the one who's going to be, you know, do something for the world of science in your constituency.
Yeah.
What would you do? Caleb?
Okay. Thank you very much for that question. Okay. Kalonde and yeah, Hamlet. I've always sat down with people. Yeah, mind you, it's 4 minutes. I have to be quick. Yeah? For me, the first thing that I would do as Minister of Technology and science, the first thing that I would be doing is, like creating a solid foundation of STEM in schools. Because before we call for innovations and mind you, we have a few people that are creative, quite all right. Huh? They can code and they can do everything. But if you're going to look at the small majority, if you're going to look at the small number and say, okay, let's pick from people that are already made and neglect you know, um, the majority that's not learned in relation to science, then we're going to get it wrong. So for me, what I would implement first is align the vision of that ministry, with the curriculum change first. That would be the first thing that I would be advocating for.
Okay.
Curriculum change, align the curriculum with the vision of the ministry and STEM vision. Solidify the
Okay.
foundations in school. Make STEM education something that's going to be taught in school. Let organizations that are advocating for STEM visit schools frequently, give them access to schools. If it means, sponsoring them or something for them to solidify, STEM education in schools by advocating, telling learners the importance of STEM, let them do so. Because when STEM foundations are in school, our learners will be able to decide what they want to be at an early stage. Introduce things like Scratch. I talked about this. I actually was adding on someone posted something about this same new ministry 2 months ago. And one of the things that I talked about was, we can introduce things like Scratch. Scratch is a programming language that was developed by MIT. So what you do with Scratch is that, young people can be able to program in schools by dragging blocks of code, and then they'll be able to create things like puzzles, things like games like Sudoku, those games that we find in those tiny phones. So from there, you're able to shape the mind of the learner. So for me, I think
Okay.
before we think of anything, we need to solidify the foundations, because this is not only for the current generation, but for the many generations to come. So STEM education has to be at the top of everything. Curriculum change has to be at the top of everything. Curriculum change on both ends, university level, secondary level and primary level, because even in university today, people are just subjected to theoretical things. So if we change the narrative and say STEM is the way to go, trust me, our practical abilities are going to be shaped, and our mindset on how we look at things are going to be changed. Thank you. I think that's what I would do. I know someone would look at this and say, this guy,
No, it's okay. It's okay. It's okay. So
just to come in,
Hamlet.
Yeah, just to come in on investing in the young ones. Yeah, so like this is one thing that I've noticed in Africa. There's one thing I've noticed in Africa, like people, like those people who employ the employers, they focus more on experience. You understand? Yeah. They focus more on experience when it's not supposed to be the case. You get the point?
Yes.
We have a lot of graduates. We have a lot of graduates, and those graduates they have knowledge, new knowledge. You get the point? And their brains are still fresh. You understand? Fresh. So those are the people you need to use for thinking. That 50,000 someone was talking about, they use it for those people from schools. They go to schools. They look for like students who are bright, students who are really passionate about science. You get the point? So for me, the first thing I would do is make sure the companies, they start with Zambia itself.
True.
You get the point? The companies that are employing, let them start with Zambia itself. The same thing happens here. A lot of companies come to these universities. At my university is an engineering school. So all these companies, they come. Samsung, Amazon, Apple, all of them, they come here to this school to look for people. And most of my friends, they already have jobs right now. You get the point? So
true.
Let companies in Zambia invest in their own, and let them not invest like in people who have grown already. Let them invest in young ones. You get the point?
True.
A person fresh out of UNZA, that person can do a lot of things. You understand? They can bring a lot of changes to a company. So that's one thing I would do, like just to ban the importation of like people from other countries. Like you just bring them to come and just disturb the running of our own country. You get?
Yeah. True.
So that's my contribution.
Okay. So I don't know how much time is left. Are we okay, Caleb, with time?
Yeah, I think we just have like 2 minutes or so to go.
Okay, so I'm going to give it really short. I feel like for me, when it comes to science, I feel like we really need to rewrite the books, especially when it comes to science, because, in as much as many people think about, let's say, gravity, and they say, no, Isaac Newton, an apple was falling from the tree. How many people in Africa are going to see the apple fall from the tree? So we really need to start writing a book or writing science books in relation to what the learners are seeing. Why don't you write it to say a mango is falling from the tree, And then you use that analogy to teach, because science is about imagination. And if you can't imagine what an equation means, you don't have any meaning.
Some people have never seen an apple tree. Some people have never seen an apple tree.
Yeah, true.
I've only seen it once in Zambia. I've only seen it once. Yeah.
See? So it's just that the time has really run out. I had 2 or 3 more questions to go. But so Caleb, the floor is yours, man.
Okay. Guys, I feel this has been one of those podcasts where you like express yourself. And thing is that when we do this, I don't know, but we have to like continuously do these type of podcasts. Otherwise, this was one of those podcasts where you interact, give your own opinion, express yourself. Like, it's really been an interesting one, man. Like, so hopefully we're going to do another one soon. And to the viewers, hopefully you do enjoy this one. It's really been an awesome podcast. And Kalonde, thank you very much for facilitating this session. And Hamlet, we know it's late where you are, but having to like stay up and just do this one was it's really been immense. So to the viewers, till next time, make sure that you like, share, and subscribe, and wait for another one, because we have more coming, more interesting than this one. But this was just one of those, when we just wanted to show you and say, okay, we can have such discussions, just talk about different things, alternatives, and just express ourselves. And I feel this was one of those podcasts where everyone like got to express themselves, like how they look at things. And yeah, it's really been an amazing one. So till next time to our viewers, it's been a good one. Thank you.